Dope. Colter, thanks for stopping by, bro.
Thanks
How you
for having
doing?
me.
What's
Good to be
new?
here. Just been kind of cruising around, doing a bunch of ski stuff. I was in Austria just a week or two ago, testing some skis.
No shit.
Yeah, part of the built together program. We're working on something new and exciting coming down pipelines in a year or two here. And on the way back home, I had stopped on the East Coast for some TGR premieres, and so here I am in Boston, kind of wrapping it up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing going from Europe to premieres, kind of burning the candle at both ends there.
Yeah, I'm definitely worn out at the moment.
Yeah.
Stoked to kind of get home to my own bed and, the hometowns and the hometown ski mountain and just back into the normal flow. But this stuff is fun. It's great to see the ski culture. It's vibrant out here on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fun to be a part of it for a little bit, tap in.
Sick. Dope. Yeah, no, we always talk about how exciting the premieres are, and like every athlete that comes through is always pretty stoked with like the turnout and the excitement.
Sure.
But yeah, man, premiere season's super fun in the city. It's like it's like a good opportunity for all the skiers to be in one place. So it's fun. It's a fun time when you live away from the mountains to kind of get that vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, for me, just being in these kind of older, more put together cities, it's a nice opportunity for me to get to experience that part of, our world and our
the
community
community here. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. It's just
broader than skiing.
So isolated up in the mountains all the time, and it's great. But
where do you live?
Putting your finger on the pulse in the city is kind of fun for a few days for me.
Yeah.
I live in Aspen.
Excuse me. Sick. Yeah, you're from there, right?
I grew up pretty near there, a little town called Basalt. It's like 20, 30 miles away.
Yep. So grew up around skiing.
Yeah, grew up just kind of. My parents would dump me off at the hill and then pick me up in the afternoon, and just kind of just do whatever I want all day, and that's I think that's where it all began. Yeah,
pretty sick that you stuck there. I mean, there are a lot of places a professional skier could live, and you basically live at home.
Yeah, totally. I do truly love Aspen. It's a great place to live, and I kind of have this sort of playful argument with like a handful of my friends, like Griffin Post, and I have a constant banter between Jackson and Aspen.
Yep.
And I get it, like, some of these other places get, more snowfall and have more wild terrain, but we have 4 mountains and less crowds, and it's north facing and it's cold. So, some of these other places will get a lot icier and crunchier pretty quick. But we're gonna stay chalky and cold, and so I think it's a great place to live. It's just so convenient. The community's great. There's a lot more to do than just the skiing. So it really works for me to kind of hone my skills there, have fun, live, feel comfortable, feel happy, and travel around the world to get some of these other types of skiing experiences, because there's a lot of them. It's not just Jackson Hole. It's Alaska. It's Europe. It's Utah. It's Aspen. It's Southern Hemisphere. It's just the list goes on. So pick and choose what you want to do. And
what are the dopest places you've been to recently?
I've been really in love with Europe lately. I spent 3 months there last year, and I was just back there again, like I said, a week or two ago, and I'm probably going back in another few weeks. It's the skiing's so ingrained in the culture. There's chairlifts everywhere. It's reasonably priced.
I got to get out to Europe.
There's no rules on the mountain. There's no closures. You can just do kind of whatever you want, so that sense of freedom that we get from skiing is even more alive and
for sure
there.
What was the skiing like a few weeks ago?
Pretty poor,
like summery
a few weeks ago. Yeah, they had a bunch of snow like back in September, but they haven't had any snow since then. There's not much remnants of it. So we were just glacier skiing, testing skis. So basically, just skiing like ice with a little bit of natural snow on top of it to make the surface smooth, but it was not we were on piece the whole time.
Yeah, sick. And testing Revolts.
Yeah, testing another Revolt. We were going one direction, and it was cool. The whole team, it was me, Marcus, Eater, Tom Rich.
Oh, hell yeah. We had him in last year. Tom's the man.
Tom, yeah, because Tom was here for this same TGR tour last year.
Yeah.
Patty Graham was there, Finn Bielis. So it's this really cool group of skiers, and from all over. Oh, and I also forgot ABM was there. So we had,
nice.
we had a Canadian, a Kiwi, an Italian, an Austrian, a Brit, an American, all,
ABM,
around the table testing the same ski and trying to come up with, what was going to work, not just for all of us, but for something we believe in to pass down to everyone else. And the pivot we did was huge. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's still in the works, but we were going one direction, and we didn't quite 180, but we 270'd into a completely different direction that I'm really excited about. So we're trying to round out that collection.
Hell yeah, love a 2sev.
Good old 2sev pretzel,
Fuck yeah, that's sick. I know you don't want to go too much into details, but when you're developing and testing products like that, I mean, it's cool that all the athletes are involved like that, and the list of guys you just mentioned, it's pretty cool. You got a nice range with ABM being a park guy. I mean, he crushes in Big Mountain too, but a little bit of different background there.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, ABM's kind of made that transition from being, a full comp skier and into being, he's starting to ride some bigger lines and bring his tricks there. And, Tom is, he's more of a tricker than a big mountain skier also. And then Marcus can kind of do it both. And I would say Finn is a little bit more of a tricker as well. And then I'm probably the one that lands more on the big mountain side and less on the trick side. But I'm still pretty playful. But
you got that Cork 7 blonde.
I got that Cork 7 blonde. Yeah, it's one of the few tricks in the bag, but it's a good one. So I'd love to keep doing it.
Oh, it's great.
But there's a few skis behind me here on the Revolt line. That we've currently worked on, and we have the 104 that's it's a bona fide park ski, like an all mountain park ski. It's skinny, it's super twin tipped, and it's soft and it's fun, and I love that thing for just kind of jibbing around the mountain on a hard packed day. And then in the middle we have the 114 that's kind of that's not the ski for me, to be honest. It's more of Ian McIntosh and Sam Smoothie kind of got a hold of that ski. So if you're familiar with the way those guys ski, they ski faster, fall line skiing, kind of full throttle, right? Whereas you come over to the 121, and that was our original built together, that pretty similar crew of the people I was just working with put together. It's softer, jibbier, more on the lines of the 104, but it's a 121. It's a big boy ski that we all take it into big terrain.
Right.
But when we're in big terrain, we're still going a little bit fast, but we're kind of looking for features. So more of a playful, fun, still able to hit some big airs and stomp some big cliffs.
It's like a wide, hard charging park ski.
Wide, hard charging park ski, totally. I love that ski so much. So we were even kind of we were thinking about trying to rework that ski, and we kind of got to a point where this ski is, it's not broken. We don't need to change it. It's perfect. We love this ski. We were testing some newer prototypes on that realm, and we're kind of you know what, the 121's better than these, and there's some other gaps here we're missing. So that's part of our pivot, is trying to fill in some other gaps instead of rework this ski that. I mean, that's one of my favorite skis I've ever skied. I don't want to touch it.
If it ain't broke.
Don't fix it.
But so I mean, that's always been kind of interesting to me. Looking at the Revolt line, that 114 kind of sticks out because it's different than the 104. There's a lot of connectivity between the 104, the more narrow, kind of more park skis, and the 121, which is like a powder ski. And then the 114 sticks out because it's not as twin tipped. It's more directional, which I can't really think of another family of skis where you have an outlier like that within the family.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely something we've talked about, and something I've fallen on the other side of some opinions on this, where I almost feel like it belongs in a different family. But so we're actually going to round that out a little bit this year with a 101. I think that's available. It's probably available in the fall of next year. So hopefully I'm not spilling the beans too much, but that 101 is going to be a lot more in lines with that 114. So we're going to have kind of these alternating, a little bit more of a stiff charger, a little bit more playful, a little bit more stiff charging, a little bit more playful, kind of going to have this sort of rhythm to this line.
Yeah.
And we'll see where everything goes, because if they do start taking off on their own, these two different types, that could be, the next modification that we make is maybe splitting that. But who knows? We're working on all this stuff, and there's a lot of people, a lot of us talking about it and massaging these ideas into reality.
Sick.
So it's fun.
Yeah, I have a personal relationship with that 114 because the only time I've skied it was in Jackson at a free skier week a couple years ago. Broke my ankle. Oh. Yeah, on that ski. So
that happened?
Kind of funny because just jumping off something stupid.
That'll happen.
Cody Bowl, trying to get a photo off something I shouldn't have been jumping off. Or not Cody, I forget the name, but
how'd you get out of there?
One ski. It fucking sucked. But yeah, we were out there taking photos and saw this air. I was like, it looks pretty, like the landing definitely looked nice. The whole idea of it looked awesome. I sent it off, and on the takeoff, scraped rocks, and that threw me totally off balance. So I looked like shit in the air, rolling the windows down, tried to kick my feet out and save myself, and then
crunch.
Yeah, which I didn't know you could break an ankle in a ski boot. Well, I guess. I mean, I've seen Tanner Hall do it many times, or twice.
Definitely. I mean, it is a bit of a cast for your ankle.
Yeah.
I've ruptured my Achilles in my ski boot, and so many people are like, I didn't know you could do that in a ski boot. And it does. It makes sense that there is a lot of support there, but you can push through it if you land hard enough in the wrong way. So
yeah, we've
both found that lesson out, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah. So, and I was with the crew from the Ski Monster here, and I was just it was one of those ones that I was immediately like, fuck, that's broken.
Yep.
And kind of just tried to beast it and use my adrenaline to get me out of there, because I know the only other option would have probably been fucking airlift, or it would have been a scene, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We were out in the backcountry, but
it's good to be able to self-rescue if you can. Just it's financially a lot better.
Yeah.
Asking a lot less favors of a lot of people, but you gotta take care of number one, and that's you, right? You don't want to be doing more damage on the way out.
Yeah. So I think I was a little bit in denial too. I mean, I knew it, but I was
I've been there. I totally know how it is. Oh, it's definitely broken.
I'm fine.
Maybe if maybe not. Even though
So yeah, I obviously think of that every time I see the Revolt 114, and when I opened the bag this morning, I was like, because the Volkl guys sent us the Revolts with the new graphic on it for this podcast, and I opened the bag this morning. I'm like, holy shit, Thatcher, you're trying to traumatize me. But it was the yellow graphic with the B on it from a couple of years ago, which was sick. But cool, man. It's cool to hear that you're pretty involved with the Revolt series. It's a really, really sick series of skis, and
I'm stoked to be. It's an honor, and it's super fun, and it's something that I have a lot to say. When we're sitting around these round tables, I've got a lot to say, which I think is it's appreciated. But it rocks the boat sometimes. But that's what we're there to do, is rock the boat and then figure out where the boat needs to go. Yeah,
you'd rather give feedback and have the product go in the right direction than
totally
stay silent and try to make everyone happy.
Exactly.
The giving feedback's hugely important, and I think everyone at the end of the day appreciates it. But when you're talking about your, like you said, the conversations out in Europe kind of took a 270. Without going too much into details about like what's going to change about the skis, what made that happen?
What made that happen was just 2 days of testing and 2 days of talking, and the conversation just took this slow curve, and then had like some like, well, what ifs, and then there was some opposition, and then like we kind of all slept on it and came back to it the next morning and tested some more, and kind of those what ifs started becoming like, hey, maybe this is a good idea, and kind of everyone pretty much hopped on board by the end, and we walked away from it really excited. So that's why. So we're gonna start testing, the next prototype here in a few weeks. So it's quite the process. We have to get everyone together, test these things, and you got like 6 or 7 different prototypes, and everyone's got to test it. So it takes a whole day to test them, and you're trying to test them in consistent conditions. And a groomer is a really great way to do that, but these skis we're testing are not groomer skis, but you do get a lot of information from testing, even a powder ski on groomers. You just get this certain consistency of information. So,
I think you can learn a lot about a ski by skiing it where it's not supposed to be or not built to be.
Yeah, I mean, you get somewhere there, and then that's part of our conversation there. It's like, all right, well, now we need to try this in softer snow too. So we can kind of whittle things down a little bit on hard pack, but then we need to bring kind of some of our favorites and really put those to the test in soft snow, which is inevitably a lot harder to have consistent soft snow,
right?
Without helicopter or a private little zone where you can just rip laps on skins or whatever. But even that's just a slower pace, and we're not going to be hopping in helicopters probably. I mean, all of this stuff is just, it's a lot to put together, and big ups to Shinka and the rest of the Volkl guys who really put a lot of time, effort, and resources into this, because in the end, the product shows that it was worth every dime.
Word. And is this like, is this the most hands-on you've ever been with the development process, or has that always been part of your role?
I've always wanted to be this hands-on, but in the last 5 years, I've finally started to get those opportunities, and I kind of think it comes from, starting to get into a little bit more of a veteran role. I've actually had like a substantial amount of experience. When you're younger, people just, they hear you, but they don't hear you as much as somebody who's been around for a long time.
100%.
So getting involved in this, and Shinka also, he's the guy at Volkl who's responsible for this built together program, and he's been with the brand for a very long time, and he's finally starting to be able to put these programs together, and I'm lucky that I'm in the right seat to be able to be in that posse. But I'm doing similar stuff now with Obermeyer, which is great.
Nice.
Another sponsor of mine, Aspen-based outerwear brand.
Oh, that's cool.
Since they're in Aspen, it makes things a lot easier. I don't have to go over to Germany to sit around a round table with them. I can ride my bike into the office and look at samples and look at sketches and talk shop. And so those are things, when I have a conversation with a brand that I'm considering working with, that's something that I bring up pretty quickly, that like it actually means a lot to me. And I'll sign a contract with a lot more confidence if that's part of the program.
Yeah.
Because I want to ride for things that I believe in.
Right.
And, I have a lot of ideas after all my years of being out in the mountains testing different products, and I have a sewing machine, and I cut things up and sew things back together in my own way, and trying to get some of these ideas onto paper, and then from paper onto prototypes, and eventually to the consumer is, it's fulfilling and exciting, and a big part of why I'm doing this whole thing. For sure.
Yeah. So do you have any say when it comes to the development of the Ford Bronco? Or
No, they don't. they have a whole nother group of R&D, and that's kind of one of those things. That's what I'm saying, you know, now that I've been around the industry long enough, and with Volkl for a while, and with Obermeyer, I haven't been with them for a long time, but a local brand, you know, I have like really good ins with these brands, and I also am an expert in the field, whereas Bronco,
yeah,
I'm not an expert in the field,
I was kidding, of course.
but I've got my feedback, you know, that I'll throw in a little bit, but I just think they're getting it they're huge, obviously, a lot bigger, and they've got guys out there testing the vehicles in whole other ways. So I love that partnership, though.
Yeah, how'd that come to be?
Thing is sick.
How did that happen?
Just an email. Just got an email in the inbox one day and answered it, and of course I was interested. And you know, it was a phone call after that, and the Bronco was supposed to show up a few months later, and then COVID happened, and the Bronco didn't show up till a few years later. But when it eventually arrived, it opened up a whole bunch of doors for me as far as how I access the mountains, and more specifically in the summer, because those roads are open in the summer. So.
Yeah, you actually get up the mountain.
Go gnarlier places than I had gone before. And one thing that changed for me is I had my truck before, and I could get to a lot of these places, but it was kind of stressful and not a smooth ride. You know, eventually you'd get there, and now I'm like, sick, we get to go on this road. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Rip the roof off and have a good time getting to some of these crazy places. It's been a real fun.
Sick.
Way to be in the mountains.
Dope. Cool, man. Sweet. And when did were you working on these Revolt developments last winter? Or did that kind of start this summer in the off season?
Oh no, the Revolt Built Together program started in Argentina. Was the first trip I was included on, and that was for we were still prototyping the 121, and it was way back.
So you've been part of it for a while.
5 years, I'd say, yeah.
And can you just give a quick overview of what the Build Together program is? Just quick synopsis.
That thing's been making all that noise this whole time?
Yeah, it has, which I noticed. I should have unplugged it, but it doesn't interrupt that much. We've had this happen before. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah,
I like how you realized, right? It had to stop for you to notice it.
Yeah, totally. It's like a nice white noise, and then it's gone. You're like, oh, that was probably tough on the audio, but I'm sure you guys have that pretty wired. The Revolt Built Together program in general, it's just in a nutshell, it's bringing the team together, the Volkl team. You know, there's a handful of us who have been around for a while, and we ski together and we ski similar. And, you know, the team's fairly large, and there's kind of a couple different groups that sort of click together. And so the team I've been working with is, like I mentioned, more like the Marcus Eder, Tom Rich program. You know, Finn Billis, Tanner Rainville was with us for a while, ABM. Like these are kind of the crew that I'm working with to build something together that we all stand behind and believe in. And it's one of those things where, you know, 6 brains are thinking a lot better than one. You know, we're bouncing ideas off of each other, and it helps to spur new ideas and to be creative and to come up with some consistency on what we all think. And it's actually really funny when we test these skis. They often just have like V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6 is what it says on the ski while we're skiing them. And we try not to talk too much while we're skiing, and we all jot down notes on this one. I like this about this one was too stiff. This one, the side cut was too short. This one I liked a lot. And then we sit around a round table debriefing after skiing, and we compare our notes. And it's really wild how so often there's one ski that we all liked the most. Yeah. So, and we're looking for these like tiny little details when we're in the field. And it's hard to pick up on them sometimes. You're like, I think I like that one more, but what about this one? And so you're just trying to cue on these tiny little differences, and the fact that those tiny little differences have this consistency of one version that we generally like the most unanimously. It's really cool to see that. It kind of makes us feel like it's the process is working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Finding those little details is freaking hard. Like we do a ton of testing here, and it's easy to like get trapped in the vortex of like not knowing if you like
if you're just like making stuff up almost.
Yes, exactly. Like, that's what I was trying to.
Like, am I making it up? This one's stiffer, and then everyone has that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's so reassuring when everyone agrees.
But yeah, it's a fun process, and then we go from that. We whittle it down to our favorite version, and then we work with artists, and we all have a little bit of input there. We all kind of throw names in the hat, like we love this artist, and then I love this artist, and then we get together a few different. This stuff will all start coming through emails, like here's some graphics. What do you guys think? And so the whole thing from the very beginning till the very end, and finally the ski comes out with a graphic that we all agree on, a shape that we all loved, a flex that we all agree on, and even a mount point that we've tested a few different mount points. And that's written on the ski. And so finally this product comes to life that we all have had a lot to do with and believe in.
Yeah. Yep. That's sick. And the graphics are, I think this is, I mean, I get recency bias with graphics all the time, but I think this is my favorite year for graphics for the Revolts. The 114 specifically is so sick looking to me.
Yeah, the 114 does look really good this year. And I agree. I think graphics are so important. And for a while there, they were, maybe lacking a little here and there. And they've really started to come together for me with the Revolt series. And the very first year we had the Revolt 121, I loved that graphic so much. I've liked all of them between then and now, but I agree that the last one the purple one, the one I ski, and it's the purple and orange, and I love it. It's got our names on the bottom of it, which is really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
cool.
So this one, and it looks really good on snow. Everything looks like one way in the office,
of course.
And then you put it on snow with this white background, and it just the purple and orange one just like glows.
Yeah, that is really cool. But yeah, graphic is so important to how a ski does in general. Like I most of my job here is working the sales floor, so I'm very familiar with how a graphic can make or break a ski. But
yeah, I care about it a lot, and I'm not
same.
I'm not even buying them, but it's just like when you're standing on top of it, looking down at it all day, it's like it speaks to you, and
it's just got to make you feel good.
It's got to make you feel good. Yeah, it's about fun, and that thing should be giving you good vibes.
Yeah. So is this your favorite graphic you've had on a ski?
Well, I don't know. I love the original 121 big time. It was this like light blue and orange and white kind of thing, and there was just something about that OG 121 that will forever have a really big part of my heart. But this is probably my second favorite, or it's up there. It might even be number one. It's maybe a tie somewhere in there.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this original. What year do you think that was?
And I am so bad with putting years on things, but if it was probably like 2019 or 2020.
Is it that?
It's that one on the far right. Yeah, the big version. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, and it was just abstract enough, and I like having a little white in there and the pastel-y orange colors, and I don't know if the fact that it was our first one too, and we love that ski. That was just an exciting year for all of us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And cool, man. That's all really cool to hear about the skis. And what do you have cooking with TGR this year? What was your segment?
So this last year with TGR.
This past year.
I was in Austria I just went out there for a Volkl thing again early in December, and plans were to come back, before the holidays. and it was so good over there last season, especially early season when I was there, and back home all across the North America in general, it was this really meager start. Not much was happening.
Yep.
And so I kept extending my trip. I ended up extending it all the way through the holidays. And Tom Rich is like one of my closest friends now, and so I was hanging with him, staying with him, skiing with him, and he's another TGR athlete. And so sure enough, TGR, their interest got piqued, and they sent over some camera guys, and we just started filming a segment over there, and it turned out to be a couple weeks of filming, 2 or 3 weeks of filming, mostly in like St. Anton area, and it was sick, man. We had a lot of fun, got a lot of good clips, and so that was the heart of my segment. We did some funny skits. We did this Krampus skit, which is it's like this Christmas monster over in Europe, and I was like really intrigued about this Krampus thing when I was there for the holidays. So we ended up making that into a skit. So that was fun, and then I came back to the States and ended up having a brief stint up in Wyoming with TGR, and got a few more clips with those guys there. But yeah, that was the season, and it was a successful one for sure.
Nice. Happy with it?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man.
The segment turned out really good. It
Sweet.
was one of my faves.
Yeah. And you've been filming with TGR for how long?
I've been filming with TGR for like 12, 13 years.
Holy shit.
Like that.
That's a run.
Really not good with dates and
yeah.
Thing, but
no worries.
This feels like about that long, and pretty sure it is.
Yeah, close enough. What was like, how'd you get into your first TGR movie?
Getting in was a stroke of luck and determination, I suppose. I was up in Alaska just filming with my friends, just filming each other.
Wow.
Aarons and Lexi DuPont and I were just filming each other, and Reggie Christ and Will Wisman were kind of guiding us / shooting us and helping us kind of figure out our way up there. And it was just like GoPros, and we had Will Wisman was letting us shoot with like his Canon camera or something like that from the Barbie. So it was this pretty fun, tight, loose program. And that was the year TGR made the Dream Factory, which was all about Alaska. Every segment was Alaska because they were having just this stellar year. We were in Haines, which is like one of the meccas of Alaska, Southeast Alaskan hotspot. And they just kept getting skunked for one reason or another. They showed up, and then the weather got bad, or someone got hurt, or yada, yada, yada. They just kind of ended up without a whole bunch of footage. And actually, while they were up there and Ben Chetler got hurt, I ended up even going skiing with them for a couple of days because they had an extra seat in the helicopter. And they told me, we'll film you, but it's not going to end up in the movie. And then when they were in the editing bay, they realized how short they were on Haines footage, and they had a couple clips of me that were okay, and I had some like really sick POVs from my time with Lexi and Leo, accompanied with a couple other clips. Kind of way lower production value than what TGR usually has, but the action was there, and they needed it, and the story was there, so that kind of shooed me into the film.
Sick.
Which was really exciting for me. And then, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah. And you just kept getting the call every year?
Yeah, that kind of just opened the door, and I wedged my way in, and now I'm in the room full time.
Yeah, that's sweet. And are you, how hands-on are you with TGR?
Fairly hands-on with kind of...
I feel like that's another thing where like veteran status is gonna hold some weight.
Yeah, it does. And through the years, I did a lot of, I would reach out with like an idea, like, hey, it's going off here in Colorado. I've got these zones, and I would work with the producer. JK most of the time was my guy that I would talk to and send videos or photos to, and show them where it is on the map, because we have to make sure that we can get permits for all of these things. And, it took a little while to build up that trust that like what I was bringing to the table was actually going to be film worthy, and it logistically was going to work. So I've ended up basically help produce 3 or 4 segments in Colorado, 2 or 3 segments in Colorado for the film, which was great. And then being in the field, even when I was over in Austria this year with Tom and we were skiing, I was reporting back to JK again, like, look at this, this is where we can go, like, this is where we can stay. So yeah, I have become more hands-on in like kind of helping produce that stuff. And then, yeah, we're starting to talk to younger kids and trying to get them on the program. And I've got some kids that I know, and I'm trying to kind of get them on the program. And so, yeah, I'm definitely in super close with TGR, and they trust what I say to a certain extent. And it's fun to be kind of involved in the back end of things as well.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Sounds like you got a good thing going with, pretty cool that you're involved with Volkl and TGR. It's like you're becoming more than, this sounds bad, but more than just a skier, I don't know if that's how you feel, but,
yeah, I mean, you got to keep things kind of moving along and keep it exciting and try to keep learning and diversifying. So it's great. It's been a good way to keep it fresh. And
I don't mean for that to come off like I'm like insulting younger Colter, not more than just an athlete, but yeah, I think it's cool that you're like becoming more hands-on at these companies and projects and stuff.
Yeah, I am too. Very grateful for it.
Sick. Nice, man. Cool. What else you got going on? I'm not gonna lie. I heard that you were coming by tomorrow yesterday, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna let it fucking roll. So I don't have too much prepared. So I wanted to bullshit about ski development, TGR, and anything else that comes up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think those were good things to cover. It's kind of, the current state of my career, I suppose, and there's a lot of relevant stuff to hopefully the customers and consumers that are listening to this stuff. So I'm glad we got to go over that stuff. And, for me, it's just kind of just keep plugging along. I don't really know what's going to come up this winter. We never really do. It's always just kind of see where it starts snowing. And I definitely have a few areas back home. I love to try to be at home as much as I can. It's just so nice to sleep in your own bed, hang out with your own friends, and not have the stresses of traveling. I also do love traveling. It's a lot of fun seeing new areas, but you got to figure out where you're staying. You're spending tons of money, and you don't have your Bronco to drive around in.
Right.
So there's just like tons of things. It's a double-edged sword, right? So my goal is, I guess, this year, always to spend a lot of time at home. I have a few zones I still have yet to explore. It's one of the cool things about Colorado. We have a lot of mountains, tons of snowmobile access, tons of also wilderness that's not snowmobile access. So if we continue to get snow the way we are right now, and we actually end up with somewhat of a stable snowpack, it could be another year where I could pull something off at home.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'd love to get up to AK this winter. It's been a little while. I haven't put together a segment up in AK since the original Dream Factory TGR segment. So it'd be nice to circle back around and check that box again. Just watched Marcus Eater's Circle of Madness, and it's completely ridiculous. If you haven't seen that, check that thing out.
Hell yeah.
It's inspiring. It's almost scary, though. I'm almost like, oh, man. Do I want to get back into that? It's gnarly up there, but it's just so rad.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Always want to get back to AK.
Mm-hmm.
And then the summertime months, I'm just climbing and trying to.
Oh yeah, you're a big rock climber, right?
Every day of the year is a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you live in the right place for it. Cool. When you talk about, you've traveled the world basically filming for skiing. Do you feel like there's a more significant place in your heart for the segments that you make around the Aspen area?
Yeah, absolutely. Producing something at home always means a lot more to me. I always have to put a lot more into it. It's like, it's sort of my segment, and there's a lot of stress that comes with it too, you know, like I'm doing a lot of pre-production, taking photos, videos, sending them to the producer, working out how to get permits, mapping, this whole process. And then when the crew finally arrives, I'm also doubling as the guide, you know, because I know where to go and when to go, and I'm trying to look at and I know the weather better, which is fun. I like that stuff, but definitely takes a lot more brain power. You know, I'm way more consumed than if I just show up somewhere and I where are we going? Sounds good. And I get to the zone, I pick out a line and go skiing. It's easier to just ski, but the stuff in my home zone obviously means a lot more to me. I'm showing off, you know, where I grew up and where I live.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Putting together something that in some ways will live forever. You know, I can reference it for the rest of my life to show my kids if I have them or something, and you know, my friends are stoked to see it, and so there is definitely a lot more passion that goes into it and comes out of it for those projects for sure.
Mm-hmm. Sick. Dope, man. Cool. What's is it home after Boston, or you got anything else?
I gotta go to a wedding. I get to go to a wedding after Boston, so I'm flying out tomorrow to Mexico City. And then making my way from there over to like Ziwat next Stapa for a week, which is a great way to kind of wait for the ski season to begin. But
what place are you going after Mexico?
Opening early, so we're missing opening day, which is sort of a sin, but it's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be down like Saladita is the wave down there, surfing there a little bit. And
nice.
It's gonna be a great time. It should be a super fun wedding. Weather's gonna be nice and warm, and looking forward to that. Get a nice base tan. A nice base tan for the winter.
Yep.
Try to hold on to it as long as you can.
Hell yeah, that's what it's all about, bro.
Too pasty.
Yeah, dope, sweet. Is this your first time in Boston?
No, I actually have a lot of family in Boston.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah, I'll have like 10 aunts and uncles there tonight, which would be fun. My mom grew up in Weymouth, which is pretty near here.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah, right down the road.
Down the road, and so I've spent some time out here as a kid, you know, with family, and I've been to the House of Blues once or twice for the TGR premiere.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
It's a really nice, really, really beautiful venue, and they have that, you know, the little back room, bar
foundation
area
room.
It's pretty fun to hang out in afterwards. So looking forward to tonight. Always happy to be here. It's not my first, and it hopefully won't be my last time.
Yes.
Historic. I love the history here, man. It's fun just to walk around and kind of think about that.
6 Super Bowls, Tom Brady.
6 Super Bowls, Tom Brady. Yeah, it's even with my family growing up here, or my family being from here. Not a huge New England sports fan. I actually grew up kind of being a Red Sox fan, and now I'm not as much so anymore. Never been a Patriots fan. Hate to say it.
Yeah, I mean,
I hated Tom Brady when he was a Patriots guy.
Of course.
Then I loved him when he wasn't. It's kind of funny. He is the GOAT, man, and I don't know why I hated him so much when he was.
Are you a Broncos fan?
I loved him when he was down in Tampa Bay. I am a Broncos fan. I'm just so busy skiing and climbing. I don't. It's very rare you're gonna see me sitting on the couch on a Sunday rather than out climbing or out skiing. But I am a fan still.
Yeah. Well, that's why you hate Tom Brady.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. I won't waste too much more of your time. Thank you so much.
It's not a waste. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Glad I could be here.
Thanks for listening.